Good morning. Bonjour. In aviation, we often use the word family. Well, this morning we are here to celebrate the next stage in the life of our most recent family member. En aviation, on parle souvent de la famille. Nous sommes réunis ce matin pour fêter une nouvelle étape dans la vie d'une famille magnifique. Welcome everybody to the inauguration of the final assembly line of the A350 XWB. Bienvenue à l'inauguration de la chaîne d'assemblage finale de la A350 XWB. And just to remind you, for those of you who need translations, Channel 1 is in English and Canal 2 en français. So this morning we have a host of prestigious speakers, not least of whom is the Prime Minister of France. Ce matin, nous n'avons que des intervenants prestigieux et non les moindres, le Premier ministre français, Jean-Marc Ayrault. Bienvenue, Monsieur le Premier Ministre. And welcome to all the Airbus customers, the suppliers, partners, members of the media, and all the Airbus employees who are a part of this tremendous adventure. Bienvenue également à tous les clients, nos fournisseurs, partenaires, membres de la presse qui sont là et tous les employés d'Airbus qui participent à cette formidable aventure. So, look around you. Here it is, the final assembly line of the A350. Regardez autour de vous. Voilà la FAL de l'A350. And to find out more about it, please welcome now Airbus's Chief Operating Officer, Günther Butzek.
Good morning, Prime Minister, Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues here in Toulouse, and to everybody watching around the world. Welcome to Toulouse, where the first flight of the A300 took place 40 years ago this month. As you can see behind me, we have come a long way since the first Airbus widebody took to the sky. But I don't think there could have been a better occasion to inaugurate the final assembly line for the new generation. Don't get me wrong, the A300 was a great aircraft, remains a great aircraft. There are still more than 300 of them delivering great service around the world. But today, the Airbus family is leaner, fitter and better than ever, just like our organization and our industrial processes. Thanks to all the teams who make that possible. Even before we cut the first piece of ground or laid the first piece of carbon, it was clear that the A350 XWB would have been innovative, but so would the way we build it. We had to manage the development and launch of an entirely new aircraft on top of existing ramp-up commitments for all other programs. That was going to require a real evolution in the industrial process for Airbus and the entire supply chain. From the outset, we knew we couldn't just send out a list of orders and expect suppliers to deliver. We needed to bring them on board early, to let them develop their teams, evaluate their facilities, and bring maximum value to the program. We needed the benefit of their knowledge and experience to let us decide what work to do ourselves and what to source. And we needed to build a real two-way partnership to ensure everybody sharing the risks would also share the success. With the creation of what became known as the extended enterprise, we got all of that and much more. And it wasn't just about the teams involved in building the aircraft. When you walk around this great new facility today, think about this. More than 400 people have spent the last 3 years building it. More than 10,000 cubic meters of material from the site were recycled into its construction, even including an old runway. And more than half the energy needed to run it will come from the solar panels on the roof. But most of all, remember that this is just one factory. It's just the final element of an industrial structure spread across dozens of sites around the world. 10 new facilities in Europe and the US, plus 3 major extensions at existing sites in just 5 years. This is quite an undertaking. So again, we owe a lot of thanks to a lot of people for making that possible. In fact, just getting the parts of the aircraft this far is a team effort from tens of thousands of people. And those pre-tested sections are ready to simply plug and play reflects the incredible dedication and professionalism of every single one of the team. Thanks to all of you. Production has been running for over 3 years since the first carbon layup. The first components started coming into this building back in December. We will have completed 2 aircraft and started the 3rd by the end of this year. And by the end of 2018, 10 beautiful new A350s will be rolling out of the door every month. The sign above the door says Airbus, but today just doesn't belong to us. It also belongs to all of our partners and suppliers across the extended enterprise, all of the construction teams who build this great facility and the others around the world, and to all of the logistic teams that brought everything together at just the right time. So I hope you're all just as proud as we are. Now, let me give you a slightly different view of this incredible building.
A round of applause, please, for Gunther. So, now we have a much clearer idea of the incredible technicity that went into this building. Maintenant que nous avons une idée beaucoup plus claire de la technicité formidable qu'il fallait pour construire ce bâtiment, let's find out how the program's going. Découvrons ensemble maintenant la réussite de ce programme. Please welcome the head of the A350 program, Didier Evrard.
Bonjour Monsieur le Premier ministre, Madame et Messieurs les ministres, Mesdames, Messieurs, chers collègues qui nous rejoignent aujourd'hui depuis tous les sites d'Airbus ce matin. Mais je me dois de poursuivre en anglais, m'adressant non seulement à l'ensemble des équipes d'Airbus, mais aussi à nos clients, à nos fournisseurs qui nous font l'amitié d'être avec nous.
And also to also acknowledge all of our partners and all of our collaborators.
I've been lucky enough to be out with our teams when part after part, section after section, the A350 came to life. We've watched them work days, nights, and weekends. Again and again, we've seen and heard their passion for this aircraft. I guess that means I'm biased. But what they have achieved is just incredible. So yes, I'm proud. I'm proud of everybody on the A350 program and all the other teams across Airbus who support us. Yes, I'm proud that we can now show this great aircraft to our customers who trusted us enough to place orders for a paper aircraft and then help us turn into reality. Thank you. I'm proud of our suppliers and partners have risen to the challenge of an aircraft that writes a new chapter in the long-haul travel. And finally, I'm proud that our fantastic journey together has made the A350 an aircraft that the competition can only dream of. Because at Airbus, we just don't dream, we deliver. At the start, we gave 10,000 engineers a blank page. In turn, these engineers gave 70,000 high-quality drawings to our manufacturing teams in all sites and suppliers. And they gave us an A350-900 extra wide body that has more than 300 seats, offers up to 8,000 nautical miles of range, burns 25% less fuel, and still provides our passengers and crew with extra light, extra space, and extra comfort. For sure, our customers can't afford to wait for this kind of performance. So we had to accelerate the program. We had to take risk. We have to manage this risk. We had to evolve some of our great technology already in the Airbus family, like composites, which have grown from smaller structure on the A310 in the 80s to virtually the whole wing and fuselage for the A350. And we had to invent new solutions to make this airframe and to integrate all systems into this composite aircraft. And then we had to quickly prove this solution with full-scale demonstrators. In fact, on everything from aerodynamics and systems to the cockpit and cabin, the A350 combines the best new and existing technologies and creates something very special, very efficient, and very profitable to our customers. Today, we are already well into the proving that all those technologies work well. The simulators, Ironbird, are already clocking up virtual flights. The Rolls-Royce engine, Trent XWB, and many other systems have been flying already successfully on an A380 for already 8 months. I dare a citation now. The science fiction author, Arthur Clarke, once said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Well, the plane standing behind me is a proof that the A350 is not science fiction. But magic? Yes, absolutely. And the next steps will be even more exciting. This aircraft behind me will test the A350 to its structural limits, but will never fly. That honor goes to MSN-1, which you can see in assembly now. When this first of our 5 test aircraft takes to the air in 2013, in mid-2013, it will signal the final big push towards certification and entry into service. By then, we will already be ramping up to start delivery of the 558 aircraft already on order from 34 customers, including the first one to Qatar Airways just 2 years from now. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what today is really about. It's about thanking, from the bottom of my heart, the 16,000 people around the world already working on the A350. Thanking them for the passion and great work that got us to this point. It's about recognizing the huge effort that lies ahead of the 34,000 workers who will maintain that pace and take us up to full production rates. And it's about celebrating a crucial milestone in giving our customers the aircraft they need to succeed in what is probably the most competitive, high-stakes industry on Earth. And this is what it looks like.
Thank you, Didier. But all this wouldn't exist without some very special people. So to tell us more about who's behind this extraordinary success Et maintenant, pour nous parler des personnes qui sont à l'origine de cette réussite extraordinaire, it gives me great pleasure to welcome the President and the Chief Executive Officer of Airbus, Fabrice Brégier.
Monsieur le Premier ministre,
Mr. Prime Minister, ministers, members of Parliament, Mr. Prefect, President, mayors, elected officials, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, it is a pleasure and an honor to welcome all of you here. And I'm also delighted, Mr. Prime Minister, that you be the one who has the honor to inaugurate, along with me, this new factory. You know Airbus rather well, since you managed for over 20 years the city of Nantes, where one of our very important production centers is located, which supplies the entire gamut of airport, including the 350. They provide the center wing boxes. Thank you for your unwavering support, and I wholeheartedly thank you for this. Also, as Didier mentioned before, although the headquarters of Airbus and the factory is here in Toulouse, the vast majority of our partners and employees, our providers or suppliers, do not speak French, and we're used to speaking to them in English. For the French speakers, my English is quite understandable. You will forgive me now to use the language of Airbus, which symbolizes our international nature, our multiculturalism, but also our strong ties to our European roots that we celebrate today and which I will detail further at this juncture.
Good morning, Mr. Prime Minister, ministers, ladies and gentlemen. Günther and Didier, you have said thanks to a lot of people this morning. But before I go any further, it's my turn to thank both of you and everyone in your teams for such a great work. You are not just building the A350, you are building the future of Airbus. Over the last few years, we have been able to acknowledge some of the people who paved the way for the Airbus that we know today, with the Félix Kracht Mock-up Center, the Jean-Luc Lagardère final assembly line of the A380, and of course, the Henri Ziegler and Jürgen Thomas delivery centers in Toulouse and in Hamburg. Thanks to them and the tens of thousands of dedicated men and women who have worked here over the last 40 years, the Airbus family has come a very, very long way. Today, we are a concrete example of European success on the global stage. And while so many others are cutting back, we continue to hire, to invest, and to expand in France and in Europe. We employ about 60,000 people around the world, and we have hired nearly 9,000 in the last 2 years, nearly half of whom are in France. We support more than 160,000 high-qualified jobs in Europe, and we are the market leader in an industry that supports almost 9 million jobs in Europe. As usual, there has been some speculation about who we would honor with this newest facility. The pioneers I just mentioned share a history that few people could live up to. The A350 carries forward a wide-body heritage that started 40 years ago. You could see some pictures with the A300. And it represents Airbus' future in possibly the most competitive industry on Earth. That's a lot of responsibility to put on one set of shoulders, which meant that within Airbus, the choice of name was pretty simple. One name stood out. By way of an introduction, let me repeat the words of Frank Borman, the commander of Apollo 8, and later CEO of Eastern Airlines. He is a genius. He has the broadest, and I didn't meet him, he has the broadest understanding of anyone alive of the entire range of systems in an airplane. He is a composite of qualities and capabilities that probably only 3 or 4 people in the United States combine among them. And that reputation was well earned. At Airbus, the person we will honor today started as the technical director of the A300 with a team of 3. By the launch of the A320, it had taken flight safety to a new level with the introduction of fly-by-wire and cockpit commonality. It changed the face of air travel by putting customers at the heart of all the pioneering technologies and industrial processes introduced. And with a rare mix of both technical and political skills, which are well required in Airbus and EADS, Tom, it demonstrated just how much could be achieved through European cooperation. He once said that you can't compete by copying rivals. You've got to do something better, much better. And he was the predecessor of the mindset of people like Steve Jobs, who used to say, don't be afraid, you can do it. And that entrepreneurial vision still drives Airbus and everybody who works with us. It drives our customers who provide invaluable input for aircraft design and continually push us to do better. Airbus is and always will be customer-oriented. So I'm really proud to have you with us today. Thank you. Our shareholders who supported the launch at the end of 2006 of the A350 when we already faced a lot of issues with the A380, with the lack of competitiveness of Airbus, the lack of integration of Airbus. And I would like to thank you, to thank the board and to thank the shareholders to have believed in our people to develop this fantastic program. The understanding of the challenges faced by such a long-term, capital-intensive industry is just vital. Our partners and suppliers across the extended enterprise who are rising to the double challenge of development and ramp-up. We need and we appreciate your technologies, your dedication, your competitiveness. Our communities, local, national, in Europe and around the world, who support the development of our sites and the investments in innovation that are central to our future. Our partners in school and universities who produce the best talents to meet future challenges. And of course, our employees everywhere. Dear colleagues, your determination to always produce something better can be seen in the A350 and in every successive member of the Airbus family over the last 40 years. I am proud to be the boss of such a great team. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in the music industry, legends get a lump of plastic to put on their bookcase. In the aviation industry, they get a little bit more, 70,000 square meters of gleaming state-of-the-art technology. So, on behalf of everybody at Airbus, I am proud to announce that in tribute to one of the fathers of Airbus, to a man who built our own legend, this building will be named the Roger Bataille Final Assembly Line. Roger, please.
It goes without saying that I am incredibly moved. As a tribute to the city of Toulouse and for all of you in France who have worked on Airbus, who have worked on all of the different aspects, I would like to thank you. Once again, I'm going to first of all thank you in French, and then I'm going to be speaking in the language of all of our employees, our customers of Airbus. I will later be speaking in the English language. I hope that you will bear with me and would you not mind listening to both of these speeches. Mr. Prime Minister, President, for all of us, all of you who work here at Airbus, ladies and gentlemen, I simply wanted to express to all of you how much I appreciate the honor that you have bestowed upon me by associating my name to the assembly line of the most advanced airliner to date. What I am more happy about is 37 years after the 18 years that your predecessors and I myself, that we have been, that it took for us actually to be able to set on this long journey. You have all managed to be able to reach your objectives that during my youth I thought was even unfathomable. It was a complete pipe dream. At that time, the vast majority of all of our efforts was really focusing on beating the competition. By working together hand in hand and peacefully, what you have managed to do is you've actually managed to reach this objective that was incredible to do here in Europe. You have become the biggest and the best civil aircraft builder in the entire world.
I would just like to express how much I appreciate the honor that you bestow on me by associating my name with the assembly line of the best and most advanced airliner of the time. But what makes me really happy is that 27 years after the 18 years I and a number of predecessors spent establishing the roots of this venture, you were able to reach a target which, in my youth, was totally impossible even to dream of, as at the time a large part of the efforts of the industries was devoted to the destruction of one's neighbor. By working hard together, hand in hand, and in times of peace, you reach this formerly incredible target of establishing in Europe the largest and best airliner manufacturer in the world. Thank you for that.
Monsieur Roger Béteille, je pense qu'on peut se lever. On peut se mettre debout.
Please stand.
Il a tant donné, tant contribué à le succès, à la réussite d'Airbus. He's given so much to the success of Airbus. I think we owe him a real standing ovation. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Merci, merci à tous. Merci Roger d'avoir permis cet essor incroyable d'Airbus.
This wonderful success. Mr. Prime Minister, would you please be so kind as to come up to the stage for the official inauguration of the final assembly line? If you would join me, please.
Thank you. And now for one of the highlights of this morning's ceremony, et maintenant un des moments forts de cette matinée. Please give a warm round of applause, please, for the Prime Minister of France, Jean-Marc Ayrault.
Merci, Monsieur
Thank you
le Président de
very
l'AES,
much
Monsieur le
to the
Président
Chairman of the EADS, the Airbus
Mesdames,
President,
Monsieur le Préfet, Mesdames et Messieurs les
prefects,
parlementaires,
the members of Parliament,
Président de la région Midi-Pyrénées,
and
Monsieur le
the
Président du
President
Conseil
of this
général,
region, of the
Messieurs les
Regional
maires
Council, mayors
Coulommiers
of Coulommiers, of
Toulouse,
Blagnac, and of Toulouse, ladies and gentlemen, elected officials, also to all of the Airbus employees and all of our partner companies, and Mr. Roger Béteille. At a time when my government is actually completing a group of measures that is going to be fostering the competitiveness of companies, in light of all of the commitments that I undertook before the National Assembly last July, I was very adamant about coming here to the unveiling of this simply magnificent Airbus A350, and also to be able to share with you this wonderful milestone. It is a significant time in your company's development, and it's also in its technological development. This aircraft is lighter, it is more energy efficient, it is more environmentally friendly, and it is more comfortable for passengers. And this is the aircraft which we are discovering today. And I wanted to congratulate this prime example of the utter success of Airbus projects, and to also focus on 3 points of the aeronautics aviation industry: the European level that it has, the partnerships that it includes, and also its important focus on exports. One of your very first strong points, it goes without saying, is that it focuses at the European level. The excellence of the European aviation industry is based on joining all of our skills among all of the industrial nations. This goes into its design and in its production. We are bringing together all of our efforts. You have shown this before. We are able to provide to the entire world European products that are leading edge, and we are also ahead. We are spearheading these projects. We are also using the composite materials. Now, all of the European partners, and I also would like to greet all of the representatives here today. They play a very significant role in developing all of these aeronautic projects. This is the specific case for the A350. It is of the utmost importance that all of our commitments are completely ahead. France will abide by its commitments. The aviation industry also brings with it the Europe's commitment, and is going to be fostering, focusing on being environmentally friendly. Europe has to remain the driving force in this approach, and we have to bring in with those that are more hesitant. I have devised the roadmap, which be for France in this specific field. By closing the environmental conference, I will make sure that all of the commitments that have been undertaken, that all of them are held. But it goes without saying that we shouldn't also impose our aviation sector. We shouldn't impose measures that will have some counterproductive effects, because world competition is continuously on the rise, and there are also new players on the field, and we require that we have more balanced agreements. We have to make sure that there is a fair trade. Your company today is an unavoidable player for aviation companies in the world, as you can see by all of the orders. The very first flight of the A350 will happen within a few months, and over 550 aircraft have already been ordered, which will make sure that you will be very busy, which will enable some stable and jobs for many years in Toulouse, and for all your partners. France really is focusing on all of these industrial programs that has to be balanced among all of the European areas. This was built by Airbus and other companies that make up the ADS. To the chairman of the ADS, I am wholeheartally convinced, and I believe in the strategy that you are spearheading. It has a very international character, and I wish you the very best, and I wish you much success in all of your undertakings. Now, the second pillar, the second prong of the aviation line is the partnerships that you have established that brings in research laboratories, SMEs, and all of the major industrial companies. Last week, as you know, as it was just mentioned, I went to the Technological Research Institute Jules Verne in Nantes, which would have never existed without Airbus. I was able to see how bringing in all of our means and all of our skills could be beneficial for all of the different sectors. And the design of the A350 with all of the composites is a prime example of this. And I'm delighted to be able to see it here today, assembled with all of the different parts that come from all of the different European sites. I am delighted to see that technological research is of the utmost importance to safeguard the competitiveness of our companies in the aviation line, as well as in all of the other sectors. It is important. And since we are here in Toulouse, I am also thinking about the medical, the drugs industry. I have asked, I have seen what has happened in Grenoble and in different cities, Toulouse, Bordeaux, and Nantes. This is just a test project. We're trying to set up a new platform. We're going to be extended to other research entities. Our objective is to really focus and to work with the companies, with the MSEs directly, so that we can make sure that we bolster, that we strengthen our entire industry. And also the relationship that we have here with Airbus and all of the other sites, of all of the equipment providers, it goes beyond innovation. It is actually present in all of the different lines of our company that you all represent here, all of the employees represent here, going from the development centers to manufacturing to producing them, to producing the actual parts, different parts of this aircraft. This is for the long haul, and it's going to be benefiting all of our partners. They are concrete. You can see them even when you see how we have built this gargantuan assembly line. 80% of the companies that have been taking part in all of this work since 2 years, they are from this region of Toulouse. They have contributed their know-how to completely overhaul, change this assembly line, to make it into a leading technology center. And they actually generate most of the electricity thanks to its solar panels. This is a prime example that you can see here. It is by bringing in an entire sector along these major projects. Every single company will be benefiting, mutually benefiting. They will be endowed with an industrial network that would be, it will have a sound competitive industrial benchmark. The other pillar that I'm going to be focusing on is that you really focus on exports. I just came back from Singapore and from the Philippines. I was there over the last few days, and I was with 30 French companies of all sizes. And I would like to focus on this one item. The competitiveness of this industrial network is actually becoming a reality and is strengthened by its ability to be able to export. When I made these trips, Airbus actually just received an order for 50 new aircraft, and for the A350 and the 380. All of the French products and European products have a very strong, they're highly regarded abroad, and you can actually gauge it and see. And it's a pleasure to see where all of our strong suits are. We need to further galvanize all of these efforts. What I have been able to see is all of these advantages, all of these images are all linked to a high level of technology. And that's why we need to further support French companies to be able for them to export all the products abroad. And it is by working together that we will be able to conquer new markets. All of the major companies that are bringing in the SMEs, we have to see who their partners are going to be in France. We have to work with them hand in hand for them to be able to set up shop abroad. And that is why that this should take all of these partners within all of these industrial sectors. This is the objective for the Public Investment Bank that will actually provide by a close ties with all of the different regions. I actually would like to greet all of the different presidents, Malvi, Boursiek, all of the different presidents that are here that are going to be providing appropriate financing to enable innovation. And all of these regions, they're already doing exemplary work because they're at the very heart of all of the territories where there are companies, where there are synergies that can be further bolstered. They're already doing a lot, and they're going to be doing even better work. And this is how we are going to be able to improve our sector. We need to endow our industry with the means necessary to be more competitive. And that is why I have brought in the entire government to be working in on the specific endeavor. We are about to undertake some very important measures to help all of these companies and their workers. This will be the culmination of a lot of work that we have been doing over weeks by all of the different ministries, and I greet all of them, and the Minister of Transportation, the Minister of SMEs and Technological Innovation. And all of the work that we have been doing together for many weeks will be further enriched by the proposals by Louis Gallois. I entrusted him with a specific mission on this specific project. I would like to congratulate this true professional, and you know him even better than I do. And he is the general leader with the minister. He will be a major player, and I completely trust in the work of Louis Gallois. Now, again, competitive, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important term, and we need to make sure that there is quality. Without industry, without innovation, we cannot allow ourselves to lose our influence. We need to focus on international trade. France must be up to this challenge. We need to be competitive because we need to fight unemployment this way. We need to make sure that we train our youngsters. We need to be able to create work, and we need to help. And that is the way that France will move onward. And we are showing this here in Toulouse at the site here at Airbus. If we endow ourselves with what is necessary, France will be a winner. I just mentioned right now this partnership among all of the sectors, that this is a very important item to foster competitiveness. This is something that's going to be over the long haul, which will bring in together all of the different territories. The state must fully be part of this, must support it. So all of these sectors are going to be organized, the aviation sector, the car industry, but that they, for example, the digital industry, a plethora of other industries that are currently being developed. The government will be putting forward different measures to support all of these sectors. We have devised a strategic roadmap for all of these industry by also focusing on the role that the National Conference of Industry plays. This is the only way that we are going to be able to develop this partnership. It has to be done within all of these different companies. We have to bring in all of the players. It is also the very nature of this work. We need to bring in all of the social partners to make sure we can safeguard jobs, so we can provide for a social network. I hope that all of these negotiations will be very positive and will bear fruit. We have some specific timelines. This is of dire importance. We need to be up. We need to meet these challenges. We need to be bringing in all of the different players. Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to have been able to take part here with all of my other colleagues, to have taken part in this specific inauguration of this FAL. Before all of you here, of all of the employees of Airbus, of all of our partner companies, you have been working for many years on this tremendous project. Thank you to all of you, to all of the heads, all of the directors, because there's no success without teamwork. We need to galvanize everyone at all of the different levels. Thank you, Fabrice Brégier, Gunther, Buchek, Didier Vrac, and Louis Gallois. I wanted to mention in December in 2010, he managed to make this decision to launch this new project of the A350. Thank you to all of the Airbus employees and all of our partner companies, but especially thank you, Roger Pété, who is one of the founding fathers of Airbus. You said this, you were moved just a while ago, but we are also moved with you. Over almost 50 years ago, you actually had this design, this idea to build this work. You can see this family of products. It has been built. It stands right before you, all of your work, and I can understand why you were proud. So we need to congratulate and recognize Airbus's strategies, which enabled it to be the very symbol of a high-performing Europe, and has shown that France and Europe can be successful in international competition. So I wish a very good flight to A350. Thank you to all of you. Thank you once again, one and all. Thank you.
Merci à Monsieur le Premier Ministre. Thank you, Prime Minister. Well, that brings us now to the end of the ceremony. Ceci nous amène à la fin de la cérémonie d'inauguration de ce matin. Donc, place au cocktail. Now we have the cocktail waiting for you. So thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy yourselves.